Alright, so this is video number 2, day number 2 of my journey into the presidential election of 2016 for the United States of America. I'm coming to you from a very liberal and progressive part of the country. And like I said in my video yesterday, I have been really hooked into the election, watching lots and lots of YouTube videos of news coverage and following every move and getting a headache. So at the same time, like I said yesterday, I'm also practicing the Work of Byron Katie, which is a way of challenging your stressful thoughts. And let me tell you, I'm having a lot of stressful thoughts in this election cycle. Some of them repeat. They come back and they bug me again and again and again, so I have to work them several times. Today I worked through 2, which were very enlightening for me and helped me come to a much more peaceful place. I went from being really hooked in and worried and upset to just wanting to be outside in nature and really enjoying nature. So the first thought I worked through again was Trump should not be president. And the reason I had to work through that again, I talked about it in my video yesterday, was that today, again, I was watching some videos. I was watching a clip from Bill Maher's show, and there's a guy on there predicting that Donald Trump was going to win by a landslide in the general election. And he also quoted somebody else who predicted the same thing, and the way he said it, he sounded just so sure, and he also was not a supporter. But he was quite sure that Donald Trump was going to win, and I got pretty stressed out, and I never have been this stressed out by anybody winning an election, even George Bush. I just didn't think about it, but this time around, it's getting to me. I think I have a little bit more awareness and a little more emotional availability for this subject, whereas in the past I just didn't have enough slack to pay attention to it that much. So I took the sentence, Trump should not be president, into the Work of Byron Katie, and I'm just going to review here a little bit what I did, trying to remember from my journal without actually looking at my journal. The first question I ask is it true? Is it true that Donald Trump should not be president? Well, first reaction is, yeah, Donald Trump should not be president, you bet. So I asked myself the second question, can you absolutely know that it's true that Donald Trump should not be president? Can I absolutely know it's true that Donald Trump should not be president? No, I can't absolutely know that. And I would like at this point to invite anyone who's actually listening to this video to really sit down with it, maybe lie down and just listen. If you feel to, of course, can't force you to do it, but just this kind of work really requires getting very still. And answering these questions requires getting very still. So no, I can't absolutely know in all of reality that Donald Trump should not be president. Next question, how do I react when I believe that Donald Trump should not be president? Well, I have a lot of fearful images come into my head about him becoming president and lots of riots breaking out, and I feel paralyzed and immobilized to speak out, to say anything. I feel ashamed about not being able to speak up, feeling really small, and I use the word sort of immobilized and frightened and weak and fearful. I see him, I hear him really berating people who are weak, like calling out all his Republican candidates, calling them all these different names, and I see him continuing that with the rest of the population at some point whenever he needs to use that tactic of name calling. So I feel shame immediately coming up. I feel really sad. I feel also ashamed of being an American. I imagine people from other countries judging us and just going, oh man, America is going down the tubes big time now. I also see images of very sort of fundamentalist type personalities getting in with him and just creating a lot of damage in our country and maybe even in the world. I see all my beliefs just getting squashed, just not honored, not given any credence whatsoever. Just I get the same treatment that Ted Cruz got, and Jeb Bush, and Hillary, and eventually Bernie Sanders, if Donald Trump ever gets his hands on Bernie Sanders. So I just feel like hiding. I feel really weak and sad. And the list goes on and on from there. Now, one of the questions that's great to ask is, what terrible thing do you think will happen if you don't believe this thought that Donald Trump shouldn't be president? Well, one terrible thing I think might happen is if I don't believe it, I'll just get sucked into the mayhem, and I'll become a Donald Trump believer, and I'll just totally lose my own sense of self, and I'll just become a like one of those women with Elvis. I'll just fall in love with Donald Trump and just do whatever he says and be mesmerized by him. I also would have to feel the fear. If I don't have this thought in my head, I would have to feel the fear that comes up when I'm thinking this thought, when I'm believing, the thought actually keeps me away from the fearful emotions. So if I don't have the thought, the fear is that I'll be just flooded with fear and chaos. So the thought actually keeps me feeling in control. Also, there's a fear that I won't get the support of my progressive neighbors and friends and community members, which there are many. I have yet to see a Trump bumper sticker in the town where I live, or any of the surrounding towns. It is all about Bernie. So if I go around saying, well, maybe Trump should be president, or maybe it's okay, or maybe it won't be so bad, or whatever, then I will lose my place in the culture and the society. And then also it's a really great thing for me to go back into my childhood and ask, what does this remind me of? What does this whole scenario remind me of, where I perceive a very charismatic authority figure who is very self-absorbed, in my perception, extremely self-absorbed, and has a lot of power, and I don't. I feel vulnerable and weak and frightened and confused by this authority figure. What does that remind me of? Well, I have to say, it just reminds me of being a little kid in a family where my parents were pretty self-absorbed when I was little, and they weren't able to really be there with me as a human being. They were very caught up in their own struggles and their own opinions and their own need to stay in a place of domination. And that was really frightening for me as a sensitive little kid. And that never really got resolved. I stayed sort of in turmoil and disarray and chaos within myself. And so when somebody like Donald Trump comes along, who seems to wield a lot of power, has a very strong personality, who could potentially squash somebody like me like a bug, that that feels really frightening, because there's that little kid in me that's terrified. So all these things come up when I get caught up in that thought, oh my God, Donald Trump should not be president. And it's my opportunity to question it. So once I fully question the thought, then I go into, okay, who would I be if I didn't believe this thought that Donald Trump shouldn't be president? And the moment that this thought came up was when I was watching that Bill Maher video, and I started to feel really stressed and dizzy and like shattered that my fantasy of Bernie Sanders winning isn't going to come true. So who would I be in that moment without the thought, oh no, Donald Trump can't be president, or Donald Trump shouldn't be president? Who would I be? Who would I be if my mind couldn't go there? So this involves kind of sitting still and being quiet and going within. Who would I be if I couldn't think the thought, Donald Trump shouldn't be president? Something just fell in my sink, so I got my concentration got shattered there for a second. So let's see, who would I be if I couldn't think the thought in that moment? I'm hearing somebody very, very authoritative say he's going to win by a landslide, and I get immediately stressed. Who would I be if I could not think that thought? One, my mind would open. My mind would open, and it would go into a greater realm of possibility where I feel the support of everything around me. I feel the support of the bed I'm sitting on. I feel the support of the earth. I feel connected to the people around me. Whereas before I was very narrow-minded and caught up in my fear. Without the thought, I feel much more calm and relaxed. My heart feels more open. I feel supported and I feel supportive. I don't feel so freaked out by the scenario. I don't envision just utter chaos right away. I envision, I just feel more supported and relaxed. I can also see the humor in it. I can see some great Saturday Night Live skits. I see the opportunity for more growth and healing within myself around authority figures and sort of narcissistic, self-absorbed authority figures. I see that opportunity for growth. I feel less polarized when I think of Donald Trump supporters. Something that happened this morning when I was doing this inquiry is I had this really instantaneous, intuitive flash of understanding of what his supporters see in him. And I could feel and see how he inspires a lot of people who are feeling downtrodden, feeling really sick and tired of the system as it is, how it's been for years with the establishment just grinding away at the middle class and taking away all just the benefits of being a human being and really giving most of the benefits to the ultra rich. I can feel how the people who just feel really marginalized, who probably grew up feeling really marginalized, and now after just so many years of more and more and more marginalization and feeling downtrodden, they're sick of it. And Donald Trump comes along and he sounds fresh. He sounds like he can offer something new and different and authoritative. He's sure of himself. He knows how to operate in the business world. He's confident. He doesn't mind saying one thing one day and a total opposite thing another day. He's he doesn't mind people confronting him. He just, just shoos it off like a fly. He really, I could see how that would be comforting for some people, and it would inspire people and give them hope that maybe we can have some change. So I feel some compassion for that point of view, and I get it. I wish I could really express how much I'm feeling like I get it, how people can support him. What else happens when I am without that thought? And without the thought, well, I guess I already said it, but my heart feels open, and I see more possibility about his potential presidency. One is just continued opportunity for me to deepen my own inner healing and find some inner strength, because times might get really hard, or he just his being the way he is, it may aggravate me so much that I just have to continue digging in and finding the places where he's aggravating me, and find out that it's not him that's aggravating me. It's places in me where I get my buttons pushed, where I'm not healed. So could be a huge opportunity for major inner healing and inner peace. And he is very charismatic, and he might be able to convince people to do things on behalf of the planet in a positive way that no one else could do, because they didn't have that kind of charisma. You never know. You never know. All kinds of things can happen. And then, as I said in my video yesterday, if all hell broke loose and things got really bad, and say maybe I lost my house, or I lost my job, or rents just went up so high and I couldn't afford to live in a home anymore and I had to live out in the street, or who knows what, if it got really bad, I would still have tools to cope. I would still be able to use tools to strengthen myself, and community would come together. And sometimes when you hit bottom and the worst thing, your worst fear comes true, you find that you have the strength to deal with it, and you wouldn't have known that you had that strength, or I wouldn't have known that I had that kind of strength until I'm actually faced with an issue that is terrifying. So to just always want what we want and not be okay with getting what we don't want, we don't grow. And usually most of us don't get what we want, right? Just like Mick Jagger says, you get what you need but not what you want. And we all grow from those things. We make it through. We find a way. And we're stronger for it. So I think I've pretty well covered what comes up for me when I'm without the thought Donald Trump should not be president. And then I go into the turnarounds. Donald Trump should be president. Well, maybe he should, and maybe the way this universe operates is that there's a story that's going to play out no matter how much we think we want it to be a different way, and there's what happens, and what is, and it may be absolutely a murderous nightmare, but it happens, and it has happened on this planet, and it's been out of our hands, like the Holocaust or 9/11 or King Henry VIII. You know, I mean, horrifying things have happened on this planet. Genocides across the globe, that a lot of us felt powerless to do anything about them. The way it was, we can look in hindsight. Oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I could have done this, but what good is hindsight? These things happen on the planet, and that might be just the way the story unfolds. So, yeah, maybe he should be president. Maybe there's some bigger explanation or bigger reason that he should be president that we can't see right now. Maybe he should be president. One reason is so that a lot of us can see the effects of what we think we want, or the effects of being a society that's addicted to cell phones and computers and not really paying attention to politics and not really putting a lot of emphasis on education and proper child care and really raising children right so that our population is intelligent and healthy. Maybe this is the effect of that, and maybe this will bring us out, snap us out of kind of an addicted society. Maybe it'll swing things so far to the edge of destruction, close to destruction, that we all come together. Maybe he has such a charismatic personality that he can get something done that nobody else could do. He might be able to convince us all to get rid of our dependence on the fossil fuel economy like nobody else. Somebody like him could probably even make it fun, and get a lot of people behind him on that one. So who knows? We don't really know. Again, I did this yesterday. I shouldn't be president. Definitely, I should not be president. I'm not feeling inspired to run, and I might not even be alive in 4 years. So I shouldn't be president. I got other things to do. I don't have the knowledge, the political skill, and let's see, what's another turnaround? Again, in my thinking, Donald Trump shouldn't be president, and I mean, in my thinking, he shouldn't be president. Yeah, my thinking just doesn't, it's very narrow-minded, it's very black and white, it's very much based on a wounded child's type of thinking, a traumatized child's type of thinking, which is very black and white, either or, good and bad. My thinking doesn't resonate with Trump, and so it automatically goes to, yeah, he shouldn't be president. That would be terrible. My thinking is programmed to be progressive. It's, I was raised in a progressive family, and always lived in progressive areas, and always had friends who were progressive, and that just seemed like the truth. That's just the way it is. And actually what I'm seeing is a huge percentage of the population does not see things that way. So, but my thinking is in a bubble, like I said in my video yesterday. So is there any other thought that comes up when I turn these around? I think I'll leave it at that. My hope here is to demonstrate how this election can be used to actually heal the mind, heal the deeply held patterns, the fundamentalist tendencies that many of us have, so that we can come to a more centered place and work together and be more at peace and be more rational and open our hearts And that's, of course, only I can open my own heart. Only I can be willing to do my own work. And everybody else comes to it in their own time when it's the right time for them. I can still demonstrate how I'm doing it, and maybe somebody out there will like it. So I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to do another one on how Hillary and the DNC should not be shutting Bernie out, because that was really upsetting me today too. And it's probably going to keep coming back around and around and around until my mind finally stops this either or black and white thinking. It takes a lot of work because, from what I understand, I'm actually rebuilding neural pathways in my brain. By questioning my thoughts, I'm actually rebuilding physical neural pathways in my brain, and that takes time because for my entire life I've been thinking one way and seeing one way and been very rigid about that, and I don't have to. It's not necessarily the truth. The way I think is not necessarily the truth. The truth is much more vast and mysterious than the way my thinking mind thinks and assumes that it's right. So that is my video for now on why Donald Trump shouldn't be president, or should be president, or could be president, or might be president, or should not be president. Who knows what's going to happen, but I invite you to come back, because I'm just going to keep inquiring, and I'm determined to find some peace around this and open my heart and be okay with whatever unfolds. So I'll see you around. Bye.